Welcome back to the Palace. I'm your host, Crown Vic, and I'm coming to you now with the series called Stream of Consciousness, which is really something that is based off of nothing. So it's no script. There's no script, no any idea of what I'm gonna say next, other than having a topic which is on feeling lost. Because, every now and then, I myself, I can speak for me, but I'm sure there are other people out there who can relate to feeling lost. Feeling like you have no purpose. Feeling like wherever you go, no matter what you do, it's not good enough. For a long time, I've put my best foot forward, and I would try to amount to something, whether it's a good singer, whether it's a good music producer, whether it's a good writer, whether it's a good sermon, no matter what it is, I've always wanted to do good at it, to be the best at it. And very often, I would spend hours upon hours trying to achieve this goal that really cannot be measured, because to be the best means that you have to be somebody's favorite. When you think about it, when you think about your favorite musician, did your favorite musician or whoever you listen to go to music school? Do they have a degree? Probably not. Right? You probably just like that person based on whatever you like that person based on. Whether it's the song selection as far as the instrumentation, whether it's the lyrics, whether it's the person itself, he or she herself, or whether it's because you heard a certain song at a certain moment that reminds you of that moment that you like. That's what I tried to be, the best at being someone's favorite. And for a long time, I will put all these hours of practice, of trying to study the craft, into practice, and it always feels in the end that it's not good enough, because if I were to get a reply, it would usually be, it has potential. You have potential. That'll probably be the best response that I would receive. Other responses, this part right here is mixed too wrong. Is the bass is too high, the vocals is too loud, the lyrics aren't interesting. That's just me coming from the musician side. If it's the writing, it's the writing. despite me having a background of passing writing tests and being a very high achiever when it comes to writing, let's say, for example, in high school, I was one of the top writers in the school as far as passing the standardized test. But when it came to writing stories, which was my real passion, I've never seemed to be the one who created the interesting stories. For example, in 9th grade, there was a creative writing contest, and the winner would get a portable DVD player. In my head, I thought I won that. So I wrote my little story, and it was more of a to be continued story, and I still remember it to this day. So 9th grade, when I was in 9th grade, that was years ago. That's over 10 years ago. So that was like what? So right now it's 2022. That was all the way back in 2006. Wow. Alright, so that was what? 17 years ago. I suck at math, by the way, so if my math is off, then just comment how many years ago that was. But ultimately, I went into this contest, and I still remember the story. The story was about a boy who ran away from home. He was not a military brat, but he had an older brother back in World War II who went to the war, or was drafted, and the soldier came back to the house to tell the family that your brother had been lost or potentially been killed. So the boy overreacts, you could say overreact or react appropriately. Who was one to say that you overreacted in a situation like that? But ultimately, he reacts by running away. So he runs past the soldier and runs down the street. Mom calls after him, but of course he's not gonna, listen to that. And then he ends up going to this cabin. And this cabin and all this stuff that's going on. I can't remember exactly what happened next, but I know he reached this cabin, and then he goes inside, and it was supposed to be like to be continued type stuff, and which ended up being an entire series. So I didn't win. Long story short, I didn't win the contest, but I did go on to publish a book based off of that story. And I went on to make that story into a trilogy. So I wrote one book, and then I wrote another book, and then I wrote another book based off of that. It was an entire trilogy that I made over the course of 9th, 10th, and 11th grade. I think I finished it in 10th grade, I'm not sure. But ultimately, that's what happened. I didn't win the contest, but I did publish a book. But the book was self-published, so it's not like someone once said, when I published the book, that, you went on to publish a book. Well, that's kind of self-effort. It wasn't like I won anything. No one really looked at the book and said, wow, this is really good writing, except for someone who was in my church, constantly saying, oh, you have great writing. It's almost like a grandma telling her grandchild that you write really well. I mean, do they write really well? Or Or are you just impressed that your particular grandchild wrote that? Because if that was a stranger, you probably wouldn't really care for it. But ultimately, I said all that to say this, that I've never won a writing contest. I mean, I did really well on standardized tests, but I've been in multiple writing contests, and I've been practicing developing my stories and being better at it. Same thing when it came to my music. I put all this effort and time into my music. I put all this effort and time into my writing. I put all this effort and time into my drawing. But it's not good enough to win. And that, my friends, is the feeling of feeling lost. When your entire purpose is your passion, and your passion turns out to be not good enough. I see sometimes people in the world, and it's like they make it seem so easy. The ones who win. How do you do it? I look at it and I study it, and I can never figure it out. And then there are other people who put in the least amount of effort, and they are financially successful. For example, there are people who have people send in their poems, and then they take their poems and publish a book and say, hey, look, I published your poem in this book. Which I say that because I've had my poem published in a book. And it wasn't really an accomplishment because I doubt they really read it. And if they did read it, the standards were really low. But the entire purpose of publishing in that book is so they can sell that book back to you. And then perhaps have you purchase or have someone else purchase the book just because you have your poem published in that book. You know, it'd be nice to make a living off of my passion. But when your passion is not good enough, how is that feasible? And so therefore, you have to resort to other means to getting money just so you can survive. Some people say that, you know, they put down prostitutes for selling their bodies. Which in a sense, literally, you kind of are. If not selling it, then renting it. You're letting someone else use you. But if you think about it, so does jobs. Just about any job that you work, especially a job that you don't like doing. Whether it's a police officer, whether it's a teacher, a lawyer, doctor. Some other company is using you. Your body, your mind, your time. And they're paying you for it. But the question is, do you want to do it? And right now, I'm at a place where in order to live, I have to do things that I don't want to do. Because the things that I do want to do, it's not good enough. That, my friends, is the feeling of being lost. At least in my perspective. What do you do when you feel lost? What do you do when you feel lost? You know, I do these sermons sometimes in church where I read scriptures. I'm no Bible thumper by any means. I'm fully aware of the theory of how the Bible was put together. You know, the whole ordeal with the Dead Sea Scrolls and the Council of Nicaea and these hidden, powers to be constructed a Bible so that they can have control over a certain set of people. Someone said this in one of my anthropology classes. This guy said that the purpose of God is consider a king who cannot see all of his people. Where the king's reach is limited, God's reach is limitless. So that even if the king can't see you, God can. That is the purpose of the Bible, according to, some anthropologists. I myself see it, as a gift or as a curse. It's all a matter of a state of mind, just like anything in life. It's all a matter of perspective. You can see one thing as good or you can see it as evil. It's how you use it. A knife can be a weapon of death, torture, and murder. Or it could be used as a tool to free, cut the ropes, right? Slice your cheese, slice your meat. It's a tool that can be used to hurt you or help you. Same thing when it comes to the Bible. And as I see the Bible as a tool, depending on your state of consciousness, it can be a tool that helps. And in the current state where one might be lost, it says in 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 13, "For we are beside ourselves. It is for God. If we are of sound mind, it is for you." If we are beside ourselves, it is for God. If we are of sound mind, it is for you. I'm not even gonna lie, I don't even know what that means. But I feel it. If we are beside ourselves, it is for God. If we are of sound mind, it is for you. Acts chapter 27, verse 22. "Yet now I urge you to keep up your courage, for there will be no loss of life among you, but only of the ship." I urge you to keep your courage. There will be no loss of life among you, but only of the ship. What do you do when you feel lost? The only thing I can say that comes to my mind is keep going. Keep pushing yourself down the path and see what happens. So that's what I'll do. I just keep going. And I suppose to answer my own question, feeling lost is not a bad thing. Any of these emotions are not bad. These are just what it is. If you feel frustrated, if you feel bad, if you feel, and by bad I mean like the unwanted emotions such as pain, such as fear, such as insecurity, just go through it. Life is a series of emotions. One thing I learned from meditation is that emotions come and go. And that's kind of like life. It comes and it goes. The feeling of loss will come and it will go. Sooner or later, I am bound to feel found.